And welcome to part 3 of the Get Creative with iPad video course for the Apple Regional Training Centre. My name's Susan, thanks for joining me today. I said we would go in and have a look at some of the other ways that you might choose to add an image or a video into your project. So I'm going to go back up to that plus sign in the top right hand corner there. And I'm going to choose an image. I'm going to choose this one, nice one of Bamborough Castle. And as I said previously, if you press on the ellipsis, the dot, 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 it gives us some other options that are different from simply adding the photograph or the video straight into the timeline of the project. So the first option we've got there is we can add that image as a cutaway. So if I press on that one, you can see it's dropped it into the project, but it's actually dropped it above the existing content. It hasn't put it in alongside it, it's put it up at the top there. So what that means is that the screen will cut away to that particular image. So I'm just going to shorten it a little bit. It's going to look a bit strange, it's just to give you an idea of what it would do, so that you can see. If we, again, you can just move it around in the same way as you could with the other ones. If I play that now, you'll hear me talking, and then what should happen is the picture on the screen should change to Bamborough Castle because we've put that picture in as a cutaway.
My name's Susan, and this is my poem called Beach Sounds.
So hopefully you saw there. That's quite useful if you want to have an image appear like that in the middle of a video clip. You can add it as a cutaway. I'm going to take that out again now, just by selecting it and deleting it. And then if I go back up to the plus screen again and choose that same one of the castle, back into the ellipsis, let's have a look and see what happens with picture in picture. Now this is the one I like to call the news presenter one, because that's what it reminds me of. I used to watch the 6 o'clock news or whatever when that was still on TV. So picture in picture, it does what it says in the tin. It's going to put the picture on the screen at the same time as the main image. So you can see there, it's appeared in a box over at the side of my face. If I choose it, if I highlight it, I get some options on the right hand side of the screen under the plus button. So the first one is the zoom. So I can zoom in on the image. Just by using my thumb and my forefinger, I can decide how much of the image I want to be visible. The one under that lets me drag the whole box to reposition it and resize the whole box. So say I wanted it to be over here while I was talking, I could do that. I want to put it here, wherever I wanted to put it, I could do. The one underneath that is the type of box image that's around it. So you can see when I press on it once, it gives it a nice white outline. I press on it again, it takes that away if I don't want that to be there. So let's go back and play that and see what the effect of that one has been. So this time the image should appear on screen at the same time as me.
Hello, my name's Susan, and this is my poem called Beach Sounds.
So again, you get the idea of that one, and you can I'm sure you can think of lots of applications or times when that would be useful. If a child was maybe talking about a piece of artwork that they had done or a project they'd worked on, you might like to have the piece of artwork displayed next to them as they are talking about it. So that's a really good one. Again, I'm just going to select it and take it out. And if we go back into the plus screen, choose it again and go into the ellipsis. The next one's split screen. So I'm not going to show you that one. You can go in and try that out yourself. I think that's quite self-explanatory. It's going to split the screen in two and show both images at the same time. The bottom one there, green-blue screen, that's a really fun feature of iMovie, and it makes it really easy to do green screen with pupils. There's too much to say about that to fit into this video because it's not the purpose of today's video really. If you would be interested in a green screen for iMovie separate video, could you drop me a line and let me know that, because I would be happy to make that one. It is a really great feature and it's something that students just absolutely love. Book Creator is a fantastic app that is available on your iPad that you can use to tell really compelling stories. It's another option for your students to use to express themselves creatively, to get their message across. we're just going to go in and have a look at some of the basic features of Book Creator. This is available in the self-service app. If you haven't already downloaded it onto your machine, then it's well worth doing so. So we'll just click in here to the app, and you can see here it's opened up onto the front page now. I've got a new book there that I've started. When you first go into the app, the very first thing you see is this Getting Started tutorial. It's actually super and gives you lots of really useful tips and information. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this new book here. Just by going up to the top right hand corner, I can just click where it says new book. And straight away you can see you get a choice of what kind of book you want to create. So basically the Book Creator app does exactly that. It creates ebooks using your own content. So we can have a look and see what the different options are. You can see there portrait, square, or landscape, or there's some comic strip options as well. We'll just go for the basic portrait one for just now. So it's opened the template of the book, and the first thing that it's asking me to do there is to add a cover. We're just going to have a look at some of the features at the top of the page there. The plus sign, as we've learned by now in most apps, allows you to add things. So we'll just click onto that and you can see there, these are the choices that I've got of things that I want to add. So in photos, if I click onto that one, it takes me into my camera roll. So you can see the different options that are there. If I go back in, we could go directly into the camera and take some photos or video and add them directly into the app. If I wanted to do some free writing on the screen, click into that one. There are a range of different options under that pen menu. If we click onto it, you can choose the type of pen that you're writing with. You can choose the size of the pen. The auto one down at the bottom there is quite cool, so you can start to draw something, for instance an apple, and you can see it's given me some suggestions of what I might be wanting to draw. Even if you're not the greatest artist in the world, it can kind of work out what you're trying to do. So I'll try another shape here. And again, it's given me some suggestions of what it is I might want to draw. I don't have to choose those. I could choose something else, or I could leave it with my own hand-drawn one, or I can choose it. Anywhere in the Book Creator app, when something goes into a blue box like that, that means you can resize it. So I can change the size, I can use my fingers and I can twist it around the screen to get it into a different position, make it larger, make it smaller. So I'll come out of that menu for a second. The one next to it there is the rubber. So if I wanted to rub something out, it's easy enough to do. The black spot there are the different colours that are available. There's some magic inks in there as well. That's probably quite familiar to you if you had that feature on your smartboard, where you can have a different pattern coming through the pen that you're using. It's quite cool. There's also, if I press the little emoji, I've got all of the normal emoji options there as well, and they just go in as a little picture. Okay, so I'll come out of that one, press done. If we go back into that plus menu and just have a look at the other options there that we didn't mention, the 1, 2, 3, fourth one down there is adding text. So I can press onto that one and it'll automatically give me the option to add some text. And you can see that it pops up there. I can decide where on the screen I want to put it. With that box highlighted, if I then go up to the little I for information, just at the side of the plus button on the top right hand corner, it gives me some editing options specific to the text. So I can choose a different text in there. I can adjust the colour. If I want to, I can change the size really easily to get it to the size that I want it to be. And I could delete it as well if I wasn't happy with it being in there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go back to our example of the beach sounds poem and think about how we could use Book Creator to tell the story of that poem or to present the poem in class. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up to the plus button and go into photos, and I can scroll down, and if you remember, we've got that beach poem folder already, and all of the photos and the video that I had sitting there that I used in iMovie, I can access them in Book Creator as well. So I'm just going to choose the first picture, and when I tap on it there, it appears on the cover of my book. And as I said, if it's in a blue box, that means that you can adjust the size and shape of it, so we can pull it over so that it meets the edges of the page. Now if I go up to the I, the little I for information or the I for inspector panel, it gives me some other options that I can choose from there. So we could add a hyperlink if we wanted to here just by typing it or pasting it in there if I wanted it to link directly to something on the internet. If I go back in there, I could also adjust the layout and move it to the back or move it to the front. If, say, I wanted to put some text in front of it, I would be able to do that there. If I toggle across onto page, that's looking at the whole page there, I can choose a background colour for my page that goes in to just fill up that white space. So we'll make it yellow. And if I scroll down a little further, you can see there I'm able to add some other features as well, some comics. I can put a border around the side of the book if I would like to, just by clicking here. So you've got lots of different options in terms of how you edit it. I'm just going to go back to my yellow page there for it at the moment. So if we come back out and go back into the add button, I'm going to add some text now, and I'm just going to call it Beach Sounds Poem, and press on done and move it up to the top there. Because the blue box is around the text, if I go into the eye, that means that I can edit directly the actual text. So we can adjust that to get it to the size that we want. If it feels too big or too small, I can just adjust that accordingly. Maybe I want to change the colour of it, make it more of a sort of beachy colour. We can put a background onto that actual part of the poem if we wanted to make it stand out. So you could do that as well, and just take that, make it white for the moment, so that the title's nice and clear. So there we go, there's the title of the book. Now to go on to the next page, say if I'm happy with the cover of the book, I would just press the big arrow over at the far right there. If I tap onto that, it opens up the middle pages of the books. And again, I can add in some more content just by going up to that add button. So I'm going to go up to the photos again, just by going into the add and scroll along till I find my beach poem. And here I can add in some more images. And again, you can choose whether you want it on one page, whether you want it to sprawl across 2 pages. See if there's any others I want to add in, just to fill it up a little more. There we go, put that one up on this side here. Okay, so what I could now go on to do is I could add in some more text. I could write directly onto the page if I wanted to, using that pen app. So we could put some text directly in. If we wanted to, and then I can adjust the size of that, put it in whatever position I would like to have it in. The other thing that we can do here, if we go back into the add button, you'll see down at the bottom where it says more, there's that dot that I love so much, that little ellipsis. When we press on that, it always gives us more options. So you can see what some of the options are there. The one I'm interested in is shapes. So I can choose the arrow and I can add that in. And again, when the blue box is round the arrow, if I go into the eye for inspector view there, the menu, I've got some options for what I can do. So you can annotate the page as you see fit. You could add in more information, maybe some facts about Bamborough Beach. And then of course, there's the poem itself. So that's just a really quick look at some of the most basic and simple features that you can use quickly in Book Creator, and I hope you can see how your students could use that without an awful lot of training or an awful lot of previous knowledge to put together something that would actually look quite special. I'm just going to press in the top left hand corner to come out and go back to my books, and if I scroll along now, you can see that book's appeared on my bookshelf, the Beach Sounds poem, along with the demo one that we did. If I scroll all the way along back to where we started, which is that Getting Started tutorial, I'm just going to click into that one to let you just quickly see. Remember to move the pages over, I just use the arrow at the side. And you can see here, that really summarises everything that I have just said, plus going into a little bit more detail about what you can do in terms of using the app. I didn't mention about having the book read back to you. There's an option for that. The bit I wanted to draw your attention to is that number 8 there, Getting More Help, where you can use the support button. You can sign up for a teacher account as well to access other resources. And it's really just a really fun, useful app that I'm sure you will find lots of uses for in the classroom. So please give it a go. And okay, so we're going to go on and have a look at another app that comes with the iPad, and this app is called Clips. This is another really great option in terms of getting creative with the iPad and exploring different ways to get a message across, and it's also really quite fun. So Clips is this symbol down here. Okay, so this next part of the video I'm actually filming using Clips. What happens when you click into the app is it opens your front-facing camera. There's a big pink button, and if you press and hold on the button, you're able to record a message straight away, and this is our first little clip. Here, if I click on the two arrows, it flips the camera around, so now you're looking out of the camera on the back. Again, if I want to record, I just press and hold on the big pink button, and it adds that little clip onto my video. Next to camera, you can see it says library, so I can press onto that one. And what that does is it opens up my camera roll, so you can see some pictures that we're very familiar with by now from our beach poem work. Over at the side, the top right hand corner, it says albums. If I click on there, you can see that is just the camera roll. If I go on to recents and scroll up, you can see all of my photos and videos are stored in there. So I could choose any of them, choose this one and add it in. And again, if I wanted to record, just press and hold that pink button and let go when I'm ready. The whole point of Clips really is it does what it says on the tin. It's little short multimedia clips that you can put together either individually or in a sequence in order to tell a story. Okay, so when you press and hold on the pink button, what Clips does is it records using the microphone and using the camera. So you're able to put together really quickly little voiceovers. So for instance, we could say, this is a photo of Bambara Beach. Then if I play that using the play button in the bottom left-hand corner,
This is a photo of Bambara Beach.
you can see very quickly you're able to add a voiceover onto an image. Now that could be really useful if you were perhaps explaining to students how to solve a maths problem, or if you wanted indeed for them to show their working or explain their working to you. They could take a photograph of their work on their whiteboard and then they could add it into Clips, and they could use a voiceover to just really quickly explain what it was that they had done. Another really useful feature in Clips is that you can add some live titles. So for instance, we could add the words of our poem as we were speaking them into this sequence of clips. So I'll just quickly show you how to do that. So first of all, we might want to add a few more clips. So I'm going to highlight, you can see in the bottom left corner, I've just tapped on that first little clip I had there, and I've got some choices of things I can do with it. I can add the live titles, we can add some effects, which we'll come back to at the end. I can mute it so there's no sound, delete it, trim it, split it, or duplicate it. So I'm just going to delete it at the moment so we can start again. So I'm going to do another one where I'm just filming, I'm just going to add the photo. Okay, there we go. And then if I go back into my library and into my albums, back into the beach poem one, I can add some others. So let's add this one. And I'll just add a couple of others. Sometimes you might need to download them if they've been saved in the cloud, just to save up your space. You can see that one's just coming over. As long as you're connected to your Wi-Fi, it will download. Okay, so that gives us 3. The other thing to mention about the pink button is when I press on it, you can see there it says slide up for continuous recording. So if I wanted to record for a bit longer and it wasn't going to be convenient to keep my finger on the button, if I just slide up, you'll see the difference. It means it'll keep recording. So if I slide up, it's going to keep recording now until I press that button again to stop it. Okay, so you can see here we've got a sequence of clips that have all added on one after the other. Now I can play them all as one sequence, or I can press on each one if I want to edit it. So I'm going to press on this one here and just press the mute button. I'm going to mute all of them and you'll see why in a second or two. So when I click on them, I'm just checking that they are all muted. Now what I'm going to do now is I want to add in some live titles. So what I'm going to do is just press in the little speech bubble button just to the left of the big pink button, and that gives me the live titles menu. Now you can see if I scroll along there, I've got some choices of how the live titles will appear. So we can choose from the very start there, you can see none. If I choose the next one along, when I'm speaking, that's how the text will appear in a box at the bottom. We might choose to put it at the top. This is quite a useful one where it highlights the word that's being said, kind of sing-along style. There's a whole variety of different options that you've got there. I'm going to leave it on that one just now. Speak while recording to add text. So that'll show me that what's going to happen when the live titles are recorded. So I'll just come out of that live titles menu by pressing on the cross over at the right hand side. And now I can go ahead and record my text. Now for our beach sounds poem, if you remember, we had that stored in our Files app. So what I'm going to do is use the app switcher to just bring the words up again on the screen. So I'm just going to pull up slowly from the bottom of the screen, and you can see there the Files app is there. If it wasn't in your dock, you would just need to come out onto the home screen and click into it, and then come back and repeat this process again. It just has to be one of your frequently used apps, or one that you've been to recently, to appear in your dock over on the right hand side there. You could add it to the main part of your dock as well on the left hand side. There's a video of how to do that on the RTC blog site. Okay, so I'm going to press and hold on Files. I won't spend ages in this because we did talk about it earlier on in this video course. You can see when I press and hold, it opens up the windows that I've got available in Files. So the one we want is that My Favourite Place one, so I'm just going to press and hold on that one and pull it up onto the side of the screen, and you can see it's opened up there so that I've got my words handy on the screen. So now all I need to do is press the big pink button and we can start recording, and I've got the words for my poem right there. Now again, things like the app slider and the app switcher tools, those are such useful features of iPad. They really help your students to be more productive. They help them to have all the things they need for learning in the one place. So it's well worth taking the time to teach them how to do these little things, because it does make them much more productive on their device. Okay, so I'm going to press and hold on the pink button now, and I'm just going to recite the first couple of lines of the poem as an example for you. Here we go. I'd rather be at the beach than at school, but I know that would not be cool. I want to be outside where I can smell the sea air, not in a stuffy room. It's just not fair. Okay, so I'm going to close away the words now just by swiping hard to the right hand side of the screen, and then we're going to play and listen to those live titles. I'd rather be at the beach than at school, but I know that would not be cool. I want to be outside where I can smell the sea air, not in a stuffy room. It's just not fair. Okay, so that gives you an example of how live titles can work. The eagle-eyed amongst you there will have noticed that it did not really like my Scottish accent, and it decided to change the word air into ear. Now, that's not a big problem. I don't have to go in and record the whole thing again. I don't have to take an elocution course to improve my accent or anything like that. All I have to do is select the clip, which I have done at the bottom there, that has the live titles on it. And then if I click on where it says live titles, you can see it brings up the text that was said. Now from there, if I click on the word that I'm not happy with, which is where I can smell the sea ear instead of sea air, if I press on there, I can just go in and it will let me change the text. I'd rather be at the beach than at school, but I know that would not be cool. I want to be outside where I can smell the sea air, not in a stuffy room. It's just not fair. So that's how you could solve that, and how your students could solve that. I'm just going to go back onto one of our other photos, go onto this one here, which is slightly earlier in the sequence, and I said we would look at the effects option. So if I press on there, on effects, you can see I've got some different options there. I could add a filter and make it look different if I wanted to, add a camcorder type image. I can add a filter if I want to. I can add some text straight onto the page, and just by choosing the style that I want. the keyboard pops up there and I can adjust it. I can edit the text just by tapping on it if I want it to say something slightly different. I'm able to do that. I can just move it with my finger, can make it smaller or larger and twist it side to side, however I might like it to appear on the page. The next one along in the menu there is stickers. These are quite fun. These animate as they play, so you can just choose those and put a couple onto your screen. There are lots and lots here to choose from. Some probably, here's a beach ball, it's quite a good one for us. I'll put that down at the bottom here. Again, there are different shapes there. These Disney ones tend to be very popular, and there's some nice Star Wars ones there as well. These are just fun, and they're a nice thing to add in. We'll add Buzz Lightyear just for a laugh. The last one there is emojis. Similar, you can just choose the ones that you want if you happen to want them and put them onto the screen like so. So if we play that clip now, so I've just selected that one clip, and if I play it, you can see they move around. You're happy if you go up to the top left and press on done, and then down to the bottom right onto the sharing button, it gives you the choices of what you want to do. So you can save that as a little video, you can save it to your files, you're able to airdrop it. So students in your class would be able to show their thinking or explain their thinking in a piece of work, and then they could airdrop that directly to you so you were able to check it. One little thing that I do want to show you, and this is in relation to iMovie. As we learned in the previous video, when you import photos into iMovie, they are automatically zoomed in. You're not able to adjust the size of the photo. You can use the pinch to zoom feature to adjust the size of video clips, but not of photos. Sometimes that's fine and you only want to see parts of the photo anyway. Sometimes you want to have the whole photo in its entirety on the screen. Now you could get around that by adding it as a cutaway, as we've spoken about in this video. But another way that you could do it is to import it via clips. So if I go to create new and just choose a photo, choose this one. When you import a photo into clips, the whole photo's there unless you choose to zoom it in. So I'm using my forefinger and thumb to zoom in there, but by default the whole image is there. So what you can do to get around that zooming in on the photo thing in iMovie is you could just record the whole photo as a clip. So I'm just keeping my finger on the button there, creating a clip. And then what I could do in the bottom right hand corner is I could just save that to video, save it as a video, and then go into iMovie and add it in as a video clip. Now it'll be a still image, nothing's going to happen in it. So I'm just keeping my finger on the, you can see.
So I'm just keeping my finger on the...
So I'll just mute it and then play the image. And you can see in the bottom left hand corner, that is playing, but nothing's happening, it's a completely still image because we haven't added anything else to it. But now when I import that in as a video clip into iMovie, the whole image would be on the screen rather than just a portion of it. So that's another one of those little workarounds that I have found that I use quite often. There's always a way to do things, as I've said before, it's just a case of working it out sometimes. The last feature we're going to go in and have a look at is posters. So if I press onto posters, you can see there, these are like pre-made templates that are quite fun. So there's lots and lots of different ones. You can scroll up and down, you can also scroll to the side. There's lots of different ones in here. This is the one that I use quite a lot in the RTC videos. So it comes up by default, it says hello. If I press on that, I can change the text. You also have seen them in the videos. It might say part 1 or part 2 or part 3, whatever it might happen to be. And then if I just record that, you can see it just brings it onto the screen in quite a nice way. And those are really good for little short animations that you might want to add in. They're good for starting and closing titles on videos that you might be making. There's lots of really nice ones in there. If I click back into posters, I'll show you one other one. Some nice occasion ones as well. Again, a lot of these are in the cloud. So when you click on them at first, they might take a few seconds to download. But they should be able to do that if they're, these are nice sort of, I'll click on this one so you can see. So you can see that one's downloading, and if I press on it, They're just nice animated little cutaways really. I really quite like them, and I do think they make your work look a wee bit more professional. There are some Star Wars ones which are good fun, and some other Mickey Mouse ones and some Pixar ones. So again, those are really popular, but they are good fun, and they are another option that's available within Clips. If it's not something that you've explored before, please go in and have a look. It doesn't take long to make things with it, and it is really good fun. It can be quite addictive once you get started. There are lots of great uses for it. It's really easy to create a clip quickly and easily using the content you've got on your device, and then save it and use it over in something like iMovie to complete a project, or in its own right as a wee voiceover app, or to explain your thinking about something, or to use that live titles feature so that children are able to follow along with the text as it's being read out. In this video today, we've had a look at Book Creator, we've looked at the Clips app, and also how you can go a little further using iMovie, use the capacity that's in these apps to really be creative and to encourage your students to be creative. So this part concludes our video course all about getting creative with iPad. I hope that you have found the course useful. If you have, please go over into the CPD system and leave some feedback there. That's really important, and it lets us know what we're getting right and what we can improve further. Do get in touch if you would like to request a course, or if there's something that you would like us to cover. Remember that you can drop in to the live weekly support sessions on Tuesdays between 4 and 5 over in the Schoolhouse by Inspire Academy Microsoft Team.